This is a third generation Mini, and today I'm going to take you over everything that can tend to go wrong to help you get a good car. Now don't be put off with this being the top of the tree John Cooper Works version. We're going to make this guide relevant no matter what one you're buying. So let's get into it. Let's go. In terms of engines, there's a huge choice here. Petrols, diesels, even an electric one now. Thankfully, there's not too much to worry about. Doesn't matter what engine you go for, they're all pretty bulletproof. Now there is one exception to that, however, and it's Cooper S's. Now the problem is, between January 2014 and February 2015, the engines built in that period had a problem with the crankshaft bearing. Effectively, the engine was toast, so it required a rebuild or replacement. Now what we are concerned about here is when you're buying a car, if it's been repaired, you want to make sure you've got one that got the replacement engine rather than the rebuild. Reason being, they replaced the faulty bearing, but other things that were potentially damaged in the engine were overlooked. So if you're looking at a Cooper S, ensure it's had that engine replacement if it's from that 2014-2015 time period. So here's the next thing to listen out for. This is more so on the test drive, but I'm going to make you aware of it now, and I'll remind you once we hit the road. Front control arm bushings can start to knock on these when they begin to wear. And again, not a massive problem, but something you want to budget in, keep a bit of money back in your pocket to rectify. Here's the next check as well. Come round, open this door, and what you're looking for is right on this pillar here, the door seal can begin to rub away the paint. So double check that's not the case on the one you're looking at, and if it is, again, good opportunity to keep some money in your pocket. Next up, let's talk mirrors. So what can happen here is we get a little cloud that appears just in the edge of either the passenger or the driver's side mirror. Now the problem is, the only way to rectify it is by replacing the actual glass, not cheap. And also, while we're in the vicinity of the mirrors, check this scuttle panel as well. It's quite susceptible to scratches, just depending on how much care that owner's taken while washing the car. So for these next issues, it's easiest to tell you about them on the move. So let's get in and go that test drive. Now before we do, just as we fire the car up here, a favour to ask from you guys. We're waging war against those dodgy sellers that try and cover up faults with cars that you're buying. If you want to join us in this fight, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and give this video a wee like as well. Anyway, let's get on with that test drive. Alright, so the moment you've been waiting for, we're out on that test drive. But don't have too much fun. Remember, this is a car we're looking to buy, so we want to complete these checks. So first up, get that aircon going. A lot of owners report a musky smell coming from the aircon, and to be honest, it just needs a clean. It's nothing too bad, but again, bring that up with the seller, save yourself a bit of money, why not? Next up, owners also report that they get various creaks coming from the dashboard area, and again, you can just listen out. Maybe a higher mileage car is going to have some of that happening. Another problem as well is the sunroof. Now this car, obviously no sunroof, so not an issue, but the one you're looking at may be different. Sunroofs can start to creak as well, and a little bit of lubrication around the seal will probably take care of that, but again, it's all things that you want to be listening out for. And remember, earlier in the video as well, we mentioned the control arms on the front. They can get worn and start to make noises, so if you can, find yourself some uneven road and have a listen, make sure there's no unusual noises coming from the front. Now the other thing I want to mention is if it's a John Cooper Works or one of the more exciting Minis you're looking for, then enjoy the test drive as well. These things are a hoot to drive, and they pop and bang like there's no end. So gearbox wise, you're either going to have this, you're going to have the 6-speed manual, which does feel terrific with a short shifter on it, I must say, or you're going to have the 6-speed automatic box. There was also a sports version of that automatic box as well, and all pretty reliable, no big horror stories to report to you there, so you don't need to worry too much. Now in 2018, it all changed a little bit. Let's talk about that back at the garage. So in 2018, that 6-speed torque converter gearbox was swapped out for a 7-speed DSG, which was a really nice improvement to have. Now that was the case for most Minis other than the Cooper S and also this John Cooper Works Mini, which got a very special 8-speed DSG box. And again, no real problems to report with that. It's a good one. We've just come back our test drive, leave it running for now. Next thing to test, and this is something that's really common, check the horn works. Not just in one particular area, try pressing it at the top, bottom and sides. If it doesn't work in each of those areas, there's a problem with the connections. They can maybe be cleaned up, maybe, or you might need to buy a whole new steering wheel assembly from Mini, which is not cheap. Yeah, exactly. Here's the next thing as well, with the car still running, this one's obviously off because, well, you wouldn't be able to hear me in here and we'd be gassing ourselves, but have a listen if it's got that John Cooper Works Pro exhaust fitted. What happens is, if it's not fitted absolutely perfectly, it can tend to work the heat shield loose and you'll hear it start to rattle. And again, not a huge issue, but damn annoying on your new car, isn't it? So here's the next thing to check, and this could be easily missed, particularly if you're doing your test drive on a nice day, and that is the heated seats. Now the problem's twofold because it's got two components that might go wrong. Either the actual element that heats the seat or the control module that sits under the seat. Either way, when you turn that heated seat on, make sure the lights stay illuminated and don't go right back off immediately. So how did we finish up then? Well, the Mini remains a solidly built, really good car amongst its competition. Few serious problems and some niggles, drops a couple of points off its reliability score, but overall we're giving it an impressive 7 out of 10 on the reliability index. Now, if you've got any problems with the car that you have or the car that you're looking at, drop them below and we can come back and help you out. But other than that, we'll see you on the next one.